Christmas was never kind to me. December 24th, 2019, Chicago, Illinois. Christmas was never as kind as people like to pretend it is. At least, it wasn't kind to me. This was the first Christmas I ever spent completely alone. My name is Matthew. I was 21 years old at the time. I had moved to Chicago for college a few months earlier. I didn't really know anyone here yet. Most classmates went home for the holidays. The apartment felt empty. Around 9:45 p.m., heavy snow was falling outside. Soft, white, and quiet. The street below was completely covered. No footprints, no movement, nothing. I walked to the window every few minutes, just to remind myself the world was still there. I made a drink, just something warm. I put a bag of popcorn in the microwave and watched it spin. The popping sound made me feel less alone. I told myself this was fine, that being alone on Christmas wasn't a big deal, but it didn't feel right. The apartment wasn't peaceful, it felt empty. I turned on the TV and sat on the couch. Every channel showed the same thing: smiling families, couples hugging, Christmas music, commercials about love, togetherness, forgiveness. The TV felt like it was mocking me. Loneliness has a sound, and that sound is nothing. Around 10:30 p.m., I opened the window a little. Cold air rushed in, sharp, clean, fresh. It felt good for a moment, and then it started to hurt. I have chronic sinus issues. I closed it quickly. The TV switched to commercials. Suddenly, a voice came through the speakers. "Welcome to our store." I jumped, heart skipped, hands shaking. I laughed quietly, tried to convince myself I was calm. I turned the TV off completely. Silence pressed down on me. I turned it back on after a minute. Random action movie, loud, explosions, gunfire, anything. Snow kept falling outside. By 12:30 a.m., the movie was still on. I wasn't really watching it anymore. I got up to grab cookies. That's when I heard it. A soft scraping sound, like metal on concrete. At first faint, then louder. After midnight, on Christmas Eve. I lowered the TV volume. The sound stopped. My heart raced. A few seconds later, it started again. I turned the TV off. The silence was heavy, thick, unnatural. I walked slowly to the window. The street was empty. Snow covered everything. No footprints, no movement. Then, knock, knock. I froze, pulse in my ears, heart pounding. I stared at the door, tried to convince myself I imagined it. Knock, knock. I walked a few feet toward it, hands shaking. "Who is it?" I asked. A voice replied, calm, quiet, familiar. I opened the door. He looked in his early 50s. Gray hair, tired face, eyes alert. Snow clung to his jacket. "There's a box outside your door," he said. "I'm thirsty," he added. I nodded. I grabbed a glass of water from the kitchen. When I turned around, he was in the middle of the living room, not near the door, not near the kitchen, just there. Fear hit, hard. He said nothing, just cold, calm. I reached into my pocket and gripped my phone. "If you don't leave, I'm calling the police," I said. He didn't move. I dialed 911. The moment I lifted the phone, he turned and walked out. I locked the door, hands shaking, twice before it clicked. I looked outside. He was gone. No footprints, no movement. I told myself it was over. I was wrong. I stayed frozen long after he left. I don't know how long. Minutes, maybe longer. Time felt wrong. The apartment didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt occupied, even though I was completely alone. I checked the door lock, twice, then a third time. My heart was racing. My hands were slick with sweat. My mind searched for explanations. Maybe I was overreacting. Fear is clever. It always finds excuses. Then I remembered the box. Slowly, I opened the door just enough to look outside. The hallway was empty. The lights buzzed faintly above me, and there it was. A small cardboard box, sitting neatly beside my door. No snow on it, no damage, no label. I dragged it inside and locked the door immediately. My hands shook as I placed it on the coffee table. Something felt off. The box was closed but not sealed. The flaps rested against each other, like someone wanted it open. I grabbed the TV remote and turned the volume up slightly. My palms were sweating even more now. I sat there staring at the box. Part of me wanted to ignore it, throw it outside, pretend it didn't exist. But curiosity won. I opened it. Inside was a folded piece of paper. That was it. No gift, no decoration, just one single sheet. The handwriting was neat, careful, almost polite. Your time is running out. You are the next target. My stomach dropped. My mouth went dry. I read it again, hoping it was a joke. It wasn't. My hands shook as I set the paper down. Then I heard it. A sound. Closer this time. A soft scraping, coming from the window. I turned slowly. The curtains moved slightly, like something brushed past them. I stood up so fast the coffee table rattled. Each step toward the window felt heavier than the last. Outside, the snow was untouched. No footprints. Nothing. Then I saw it. A shadow moving across the wall opposite the window. Not fast, not slow. Just enough to prove it was there. Someone was outside, watching. I stepped back instinctively, my back hitting the wall. My breathing became shallow. I didn't want to look again, but my eyes betrayed me. The shadow moved. Then, a face pressed against the glass. I screamed. I grabbed my phone, stumbling backward, nearly dropping it as I dialed 911. My hands were numb. I couldn't feel my fingers. I told the operator someone had broken into my apartment. I gave my address, my unit number. I told her a man was inside, threatening me. She told me to stay calm, to find a safe place until police arrived. Then I heard glass shatter. The living room window broke. Snow blew inside. I didn't look back. I ran. Up the stairs, to the bedroom on the second floor. I slammed the door shut and locked it. My hands slipped, but I dragged the dresser, then the bed, blocking the door. My heart felt like it was going to explode. Then the pounding started. Not knocking, slamming. The door shook with every hit, metal scraping against wood. A blade. I slid down the wall, pressing my hands over my ears, breathing in short, broken gasps. I prayed, even though I didn't believe. Then, sirens. Red and blue lights flashed through the bedroom window. The pounding stopped. I stayed there until the police broke the door down. When they entered, he was gone. The living room window was shattered. Snow covered the floor, melting into the carpet. And on the coffee table, where the box had been, was another note. "Merry Christmas. You're lucky." And that's when it hit me. The way he moved, calm, calculated, methodical, like a predator, like a killer. The note, the shadow, the timing. He wasn't just threatening me. He was waiting, waiting for fear, waiting for chaos, waiting for blood. He was a psychopath, the kind that only acts when the fear has fully set in, when the world is quiet, when no one is watching. And somehow, he knew. Somehow, he planned everything. I sat there for hours afterward, heart still racing, my mind replaying every sound, every shadow, every movement. And that's when I realized something. He would be back. And next time, there might be no note. Next time, I might not make it.